Well, first off, thank you for joining us. And what is your name and kind of where are you at in life right now? What are you doing in life?
Yo, thank you for welcoming me, brother. Thank you for having me in Snohomish. Is it Snohomish or Snohomish?
Snohomish.
Snohomish. I need to learn how to do that.
There's
I need
home in the middle.
Home. Snohomish.
Yes.
I love Snohomish. My name is Denis. Denis Maronga is my government name. I'm originally from Kenya. Moved to Seattle 8 years ago. Artist, producer, podcaster as well.
Nice.
I'm a student. I'm a son of somebody. And that's all. Friendly community leader. I do a lot of things in Seattle. So you got to shoot it straight. Let me know. What do you want to know?
What do you wanna
Anything
know?
with art.
I want to. So, art. What made you get? I really want to go to these stories, like
Yeah.
the story of how you got into art, right? Like, what was that one moment when you can look back in your memory bank and be like, "This is when I knew I was going to go down this art path."
I think because I was a troublesome child and I was not one of those like happy children. I was one of the kids that the parents would want to take to a boarding school, which they did since I was like 9 years old. So I developed my public speaking skills in school. And at 16 is think when I got my first acting gig. And then I started being an actor, did couple of commercials. Then at 18, a friend of mine told me to do theater. So we started doing adaptations. I'm telling you, like William Shakespeare adaptations. We're in Africa, man, trying to learn those Bassanio lines. Was tough, man. I didn't want to tell you that, but it was great. We traveled all over Kenya. And after that, we started proceeding. Like we started doing infomercials, commercials for the government. We started doing sitcoms. And then it hit me that I like being on stage. I like delivering stuff. I like being free. That's where my freedom was. Was in Kenya, because in Kenya at that time, first there was no multi-party. So it was just like a dictator almost level type of government. And art was like a voice of rebellion, a voice of the millennials of that time trying to come out. Gen Zs are now hot. I love them. I always tell them like, I know you feel like you started it. We started it. We've been doing this work for years. You just got on our template. But I love it though. I love both of them. I love us. And for us, it's a form of resistance. Like right before I left Kenya to come to America, like almost 20 years ago, my last production was about election violence. There was two political parties, and the opposition won the election, but the government of Kenya at that time stole the election from the opposition that won. So they started intertribal war. So my art became more of like, now it's not just about entertainment, infotainment, politictainment, all that. But it got too dangerous for me. So I moved up here, but I came as a student. And I was in Wichita. You guys have heard of Wichita before?
Wichita, Kansas?
Wichita, Kansas. Yeah. I was there. Wichita State. Shockers to the world. If you're shockers out there, tell them we need KFC back in the school dorms. But yeah, I was in Kansas, bro. Kansas was tough.
And what were you going to school for? So
it was crazy. I got a scholarship to come to be a dentist, not an artist. So I was supposed to be a dentist. So weird. I was supposed to be a doctor. But then I didn't know how expensive medical school was in that light, but I had to change my major a few times. I found myself going back to my first love, which was art. So I started producing music. I know you don't believe me, but I used to rap a lot. I had albums and mixtapes, and it was back to back. If Lil Wayne is dropping a mixtape, I got the beat tomorrow. I was dropping it the week after. But then over time, the nature of your relationship with art changes. At 21, you're like girls, party. 25, you're more like, because I had my daughter like 22, and I'm like, I gotta change my message now to be more impactful, because I'm now in tune with, I'm a foreigner in a different country. I'm not just representing me, myself. It's more about what community am I representing? When Kansas, where we're like a minority of a minority of a minority, we're literally almost invisible in places we go to, and representation starts to matter. And what am I going to leave behind starts to matter. And I'm not living just for myself, because in Africa we say this Swahili word which says msanii ni kioo ya jamii, which means msanii is an artist, kioo is a mirror. Ya means for, and Jamie means community. An artist is the mirror for community. You're the mirror of the community. Your voice, your art is the mirror of the reality around you. So I can be selling realities in Kansas that people in New York don't see. Like, bro, you're in Wizard of Oz land. What are you doing over there on a limousine? Like, you should be telling me exactly how the people, your people, are adapting to the environment there, creatively, financially, career wise. What are you saying? What's your story reflecting about people who look like you in that space? So I morphed from that. I got into fashion. I worked with Aldo's Men's Fashion Warehouse. We had a whole thing going. Then we started a podcast down there before podcast was popular. We had a radio called AK-47 because my dad was in the army and he made me clean AK-47 when I was 6 years old. I hated it. So we had this TV radio show called AK-47. We used to stream African music before it was popular, before anybody played it. And sometimes we go to the clubs and like pay people like, can you just play these 2 African songs, please? Can you play these 2 reggae songs? And I remember we hosted Sean Paul. We hosted
My goodness.
Kevin Little. We hosted Alain. We hosted Genuine. He was still dancing funny back then. Yeah, it was crazy. We had the first African restaurant there because I was huge on cuisine. And moved to Seattle 8 years ago. Came back with the same dream. Opened a bistro out in Federal Way with a couple of friends of mine. We introduced African house music to Seattle 8 years ago. But then African music was not popular then. And I had so much to say based on my experiences in Kansas. So I decided, let me try this stand-up because I like talking too much like I'm talking right now. And then they told me there's a comedy club in Bellevue called the Apollo Comedy Club. So I stepped to the Apollo Comedy Club. First guest I had to host was Mike Epps. It was crazy. It's right there, but like it's track on the other side. So we started working. Mike Epps, Nate Jackson, Michael Blackson, you mentioned it, we were in there. Then we left there, went on a statewide tour. 30 states. Laugh Factory LA, Laugh Factory New York, Detroit, Chicago, everywhere. Then the pandemic hit. Pandemic hit when we had the biggest Black comedy festival in Seattle. It was the Museum of Pop Culture, right by Space Needle. It was big, sold out, it was big. All the celebrities came. And then at that time, those 2 years doing all these virtual shows, learning myself, learning which stories I'm trying to build and like checking life. I started asking myself, as a stand-up comedian, your art is yours. It's self-satisfying. It's for the people, but it's still your name. Is that my angle? Has that been my angle my whole life? I said, nah, I'm a community person. It's always about community. Then I coined this word. It's a Swahili word because it relates to laughter and joy. My mother's favorite TV show growing up was called Joy Bringers. It was a show in Kenya where they brought all these Christian choirs. They would sing like almost like an orchestra with no instruments and nothing fancy. And the different choirs would sing. And they would always express it from the east to the west, the north to south. Joy Bringers. And one of those days, I'm like, I haven't seen my mom for almost 15 years. I think this will be something I'll put in my legacy that will remind me of her. So I started a nonprofit called Kicheko. Kicheko is a Swahili word which means bring joy, laughter. Kicheko, bring joy.
You just told of like the equivalent of what seems like 5 or 6 or 20 lifetimes in that short story, just short. And I can't even imagine the more detailed stories you have about it.
We're gonna stay here for a whole day.
I know. Well, that's why I want to know, like, how can people find you? How can they go listen to you if they want to learn more and hear more of those stories?
So since we began our agency, it's a creative agency called Kicheko Project. We have worked with 120 artists plus in Seattle. Some of the comedians started with this, came to our platforms. We did the first roasts. We did the first festivals, comedy festivals. Anybody in the comedy circle in Seattle knows about us. Either we worked with them or collaborated with them. But we expanded it. I wanted to add a different element to it. This element has tied roots to my culture back home. Our first East African food festival was called Choma Festival. It happened this year. You love barbecue?
I love barbecue.
Yeah, I know. Some people are pescatarians. They're like, I don't like barbecue. No, we barbecue fish. And if you're vegan, we barbecue, I don't know, lettuce. I don't know, whatever
yeah.
you like, we barbecue it, bro. So we have tied all that together. We're based in Seattle. We do 3 or 4 festivals a year, depending on the energy of the people. Either open mics, either Choma Festival. Choma is a Swahili word which means barbecue as well. We have food festival out there, the equivalent of Bumble. What's it called out? The one Seattle barbecue thing. I forgot it. It's like a Seattle center. But we partner with a lot of people.
Gotcha.
If you're out there, follow us. Kicheko is Kicheko. Kind of like kitchen without the T.
Gotcha.
And then PK at the back. My name is Denis. If you're ever an artist, you want to collaborate with us, you want a podcast, you want an open mic, you want to learn about financial literacy, you want to learn about drumming. We have drumming classes. We work with every Afro Caribbean artist in Seattle. We partner with people who are producing the biggest African and Afrobeat festivals in Seattle. If you're an artist who's trying to come up and kind of get your music out there, you can also reach out to us. We collaborate with people. I'm also in the food business, right? I'm a food business. If you're trying to add weight, this is the time to follow me.
We got to say something for the next time we have you on.
Please. Thank you for having me, bro.
Thank you so much.
Thank you again for having me. I want to come back here again.
Oh, you don't even know that.
Not because of you, because of the lighting is so good and the microphone. I want to come here for the lighting. I like this.
I got even better lighting somewhere else.
Thank you, bro. I appreciate you, bro. Let's get it.